We have quorum, and I will call the first meeting of the Board of Health for the 2018 to 2022 term to office. Welcome to members of the board and to members of the public. You can follow the agenda and debate on your computer, tablet, or smartphone at toronto.ca/council. The Board of Health acknowledges the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Are there any declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? Being none, I will proceed to the first item of business, which is item 1, election of the chair for 2019. There is one speaker on this item, so I will now ask them to come forward. They will have 5 minutes to speak. The first speaker is Stephen Kreiderman. Is Stephen Kreiderman present? Last call for Stephen Kreiderman. Seeing that the speaker is not present, we will proceed to now consider the item. Are there any nominations for chair of the Board of Health? Councillor Perks.
I would like to nominate Councillor Cressy as chair of the Board of Health.
Councillor Perks has nominated Councillor Cressy. Councillor Cressy, do you accept the nomination? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? As there are no further nominations, the nominations are now closed. Councillor Cressy is the only nominee, so I declare Councillor Cressy as chair of the Board of Health for a term of office starting on January 30th and ending on December 31st, 2019, and until a successor is appointed. I will now ask Councillor Cressy to assume the chair in order to conduct the election for the vice chair and the rest of the business.
So I have a whole speech. Thank you, Gordon. Thank you for taking that along. Our second item on the agenda is the election of vice chair for 2019. It is a public item. Is there anybody here to depute on the item? Seeing none, nobody registered. Are there any nominations for vice chair of the Board of Health? I would like to nominate Councillor Wong Tam. Do you accept the nomination?
With thank yous.
Okay. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? As there are no further nominations, the nominations are now closed. Congratulations, Councillor Wong Tam. All right, moving right along to item 3. It's the Board of Health Procedures bylaw review. We have a recommendation from the MOH. Are there any questions or is there anybody to depute on this item? Seeing none. Any questions of staff? Seeing none. Would somebody please move those recommendations? Councillor Wong Tam. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moving right along. Item 2.4, proposal for 2019 schedule of Board of Health meetings. I have a brief amendment that I would like to put forward. First, anybody to speak? Are there any speakers on this item? Seeing none. Are there questions of staff? Seeing none, I have an amendment which is to adjust the start time, and I understand my office has checked with other councillors' offices already, but to move it from 1 p.m. to 9:30 a.m. We ran into quorum issues frequently last term at the end of the day as people were rushing to get home, and this is to avoid that. And so with that, I will move my amendment. And are there any other speakers on this item?
Just adopt as amended.
Yeah. All right, all those in favor of my amendment? First of all, approved. Any opposed? None carried. As amended. All those in favor? If any approved? Nope, carried. We have one additional item that we have to deal with, which is we have to get the minutes from the November 19th meeting confirmed. I'm wondering if I could ask for a motion to confirm those minutes. Councillor Layton, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. That is the formal agenda. Before we move an adjournment, first of all, I would like to deeply thank the citizen members, including one who changed a flight to be here today, Angela, but also as this is the final meeting for 5 public members who served in the last term, for Paul, for Stacy, for Angela, we want to acknowledge and thank you for your time and your service. This is arguably, in my view, the most important board that exists at the City of Toronto as it relates to the social determinants of health, and you have helped to make a safer and healthier city. So we want to thank you for being here. I believe that there was a small gift that our MOH and Co. had arranged.
So I think that's been taken care of by our
Through public appointment. So I hope a gift is received. If you haven't, we will chat after. But please, if members of the committee, if we could all join me in a round of applause to thank our members. If you could please call Angela. And with that, I promised that this would be 15 minutes to all of you. It was shorter than that. With that, can I have a motion of adjournment for this formal meeting? Councillor Wong Tam, thank you. Adjourned. All right.
7 minutes.
7 minutes.